What's up, guys? This is Codes.
Matthew Anthony here.
Hey guys, Anamer here.
Hi, my name's Gulp.
Mac Vaughn here.
My name's Winter.
Dom Kane. Bjorn Ackerson.
Julian Gray.
Christian Vance.
The Secrets.
Elas.
Horticulture.
Alvin Dad.
Austin Hot.
Hi everyone and welcome along to Sonic Academy Live with me, Chris. It's up beside me is...
Me, Phil Johnston, and we are also joined with David Seven Skies today.
We're joined with Stephen Seven Skies, and coming up after him we have got the man like Jaytech to answer your questions on his course. David's going to chat to us about what it's like to be locked up with coronavirus, the effects it's going to have on careers, and just sort of how it affects people and what it's going to do. We also have demo doctors coming up, and we have a kind of hybrid demo doctor fix my
demo.
And if we get time, we're going to try and take a look at Slate's new Infinity EQ, which people are pretty much.
It's really good. Yeah, no, it's really good.
It's not a Pro Q killer, but people are.
Yeah, I mean, it does pretty much everything it does.
Yeah, so if you got the bundle, it makes sense to keep everything in. I want to say hello to everybody in the chat so far. We've got Jan Paul, we've got our man like Deddy Culstard, who's working on his Jaytech remix as we speak. We've got Urban Fabric, we have got Buffo on the beat. I hope I'm not murdering all these names.
Yeah.
We've got Paul Smith. Hi everyone, welcome along to the show. I hope you all enjoy it. We have loved the last few weeks checking out your tracks, interacting with you guys live. It's just been such a pleasure and such brilliant fun. We're getting a real buzz off it. So this week, obviously the big news that's affected everything is, we can't escape it, and it's coronavirus.
Yeah.
It's had devastating impacts on Miami Music Week, which looks like it's kind of gone. Coachella Festival's gone. Lots of just all these big sort of things are gone.
And local, I'm getting a lot on my Facebook feeds about, just local promoters, doing smaller gigs that are in trouble. And
so guy who's worked with Sonic Academy before, he's done courses, and I've built a relationship over the last couple of years, is David Seven Skies, and I know he lives in North Italy, right in the heart of the second most infected city in the world. It's not something to brag about, is it? It's like a real weird, I live in the second most infected city in Italy. So David joins us on Skype. Hi David, are you there?
What's up? How everyone?
How you doing? How are you?
Pretty good. As good as they can.
So
yeah.
What is actually happening with you at the moment? Are you a total lockdown, or what's the story?
Yes, I'm in lockdown. I'm locked out. Inside the house, which is not my house.
Right.
It's my friend's house. I normally live up in a mountain with 84 people in my town.
The Seven Skies Mansion?
Seven Skies Mansion, that's where it is. But a couple of weeks ago, I sort of figured, not a couple of weeks ago, 11 days ago actually, I figured that shit was gonna hit the fan, and so I called my best friend, who's taking videos of me right now, and I was like, "Yo, do you wanna go into like self quarantine together? Because I think this thing is gonna blow up. So let's get together. Let's just I'll come to your place, and we're just gonna work on our stuff. He's a very great video editor and video guy and designer, and I make music. So we were like, okay, let's get together, let's just stay in the same place, work all day, and then play video games for the rest of the day when we're not working. So the quarantine is going to be a little bit, easier to bear with. And so I moved to this city, which 5 days after turned out to be the second most infected city in Italy and possibly in the world right now. So yes, it's pretty crazy.
That's mental.
And so tell us a little bit about the impact on you as a producer, as a musician. How has it affected you that this lockdown? Is it
Yeah, I'm also interested in just the general. What's actually happened there? What's locked down? What can you do? What are you not allowed to do? What is the impact? In terms of going out or shops or kind of what does it mean?
Okay, so sorry, it's not coronavirus, by the way. I have a cough.
Are you sure?
I don't know, but that's something I'll talk about later. But yeah, so basically, we're not allowed to do anything as of yesterday. We're not even allowed to walk outside. Obviously, everything is to be taken with a grain of salt. I mean, if you have a dog and you need to take him outside to do its things, you're obviously allowed to do it. You're obviously allowed to go to the supermarket. So yes, you're not allowed to do anything, but what's essential, what's primary needs, you are allowed to do it, obviously. And if you go to the supermarket, we are past the stage where shelves are empty.
Yeah,
we had that stage 2 weeks ago.
Which was where we
past
are now. I think people are sort of panic buying and
Today is the big sort of, in the UK, it's kind of just exploded and everyone's panic buying for some reason. We don't really know why. And toilet rolls.
It's just panic. So what I'm seeing, this is why I've taken social media to actually talk about what's happening, because what I'm seeing right now in the world is what I've seen 2-3 weeks ago in Italy. It's literally repeating itself, from the reaction of the people to what they're saying, to the fact that they're joking about it, to the fact they're still in denial about this whole thing. I'm seeing the exact same thing that I've seen in Italy, and that's why I've taken social media to be like, guys, we made this mistake. Look at where we are now. We are literally 3 weeks in the future compared to your current situation. Just learn from us.
Yeah.
So yes, we're past the empty shell. It's supermarkets are exactly the same as they used to be. There are supermarkets. You go there and it's all full. You are not allowed to be. I think there's a maximum number of people depending on the side of the grocery store. So sometimes you get there and there's a line, and you have to wait to get in. But yes, that's the biggest.
And what's the story with just general workers? People who are working in supermarkets and collecting trash, or are people allowed to go to work still, or some people sort of told not to bother, or what's the general?
To keep the essential services going, is that what happens there?
Yes, so there is a bit of confusion going on with Italy right now, because obviously, this is it's a situation that nobody's really ready for. This is the first time this has ever happened in history. In modern history. So you just don't know how to deal with it, and the government is sort of trying its best. I guess it's doing some stuff right, but it's obviously doing some stuff wrong. So shops, for the most part, are closed. Like clothing and IKEA and all those places are now closed. Factories are still open. And this is why a lot of people are bitching about it, because they're like, okay, so we're not allowed to go out, but we can go to factories, and we're going to be in touch with other people. So what's the point? And it is messy. I understand that. And they're saying, yes, but if you stay a meter and a half, 2 meters apart from each other, that's fine, blah, blah, blah. it's really messy, but at the same time, I mean, you got to understand that um, the virus, and this is another thing that I've sort of tried to explain on social media. The virus has been greatly underestimated with its impact, not on health, but also on economy. Right now, nobody is working, nobody is bringing in any money. The economy is completely stopped here in Italy. So I guess the government is sort of trying to do the best they can to sort of at least keep a little bit of economy running. And yeah, it's a very tough situation.
So, how does it? I mean, you as a producer, well, how has it specifically impacted you? I know. I mean, there's loads of DJs tweeting and posting about literally everything is stopped for us now, and there's no safety nets. What has it meant for you? Actually, what have you felt?
So for me, it's not a huge deal yet. Thankfully, I have self-promotion time. I have Standalone Music, which is my company where I sell my presets and stuff, and that has always been sort of my main support. Music has never really paid that much. I've gigs started to take off now after my new tracks, and obviously as soon as my gigs started to take off, this whole thing was like, no, you're not gonna do that. But yeah, so I'm dealing quite all right with this. That's what a lot of DJs have been saying. I've seen a post. I think it was Oliver Heldens. He was like, okay, I'm gonna lock myself in the studio for 2 months, because I think he said that he's next. He got gigs canceled for the next 2 months.
Yeah.
So I am not experiencing anything like this. So for me, it's still okay. Like I said, I have my company. This time for me, it's just more time to focus on music, focus on new sounds, focus on my videos for YouTube. For other people, for other DJs, this is terrible. And not just for DJs. 15 minutes before I actually got into this call, I was talking with my friend who's a manager, and he was like, I just lost so much money, because they obviously live off commissions from other DJs. So you got to understand, this is not only affecting. Okay, so we're talking about the EDM world. So let's leave the whole economy aside. This is not just affecting DJs; it's affecting promoters, managers,
Lighting guys, VJs.
Bar staff, everyone
everybody.
in the entertainment industry, really.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
I mean, I think that's what we're trying to get at is, it's not just the DJs and not unable to travel, but it's all the supporting staff around them, and as you say, managers to booking agents to travel agents to every single sort of cog in that huge wheel is going to be affected. And I think we haven't even really seen the impact of this yet. I mean, these major companies like South by Southwest and stuff that have had to cancel, half of third of their staff completely gone. These guys,
the artists as well. I think it was who's the guy from Derry that he was going out there. It was like $5,000 they were getting, for the whole trip for gigs, and that's just
gone.
Gone.
So it's going to have a major impact. We may get some incredible music in about 5 months' time because everyone's locked in a studio.
Producing.
So it might be good creatively that way. So it kind of artists, in adversity. Are you planning now to use this to your advantage and put the head down and just work on tunes?
Yes, I tweeted something this morning, which I don't know. I'm kind of proud of it. I finally did one of those sentences that are kind of cool to share, and I said, "Let's turn this virus into art."
Yeah.
Right, because we're gonna be locked in the house, and this is we can literally turn this situation into art, and I think we have really tough times ahead, but also we have really, let's say, prosperous times coming next.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously going to play out for quite a while, but it's not going to play out forever. At some point, it'll start to ease off, and people will start to feel that sort of euphoria of things getting back to normal. I
just wonder how after 3 months of containment, how ready people will be to party and just to get out and let cut loose. It's gonna just be a shit show out there when people get ready to go and party.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, even just, think about how awesome it will be to get out of the house.
Yeah.
Just to get back in the street and see other people. Like this is the hardest thing, and this is one of the other things that we talk about it a lot in the music industry. We talk about mental health a lot in the music industry. I've done a video on my YouTube about it, but that's another thing that people don't understand. I mean, the depression rate and anxiety rate here in Italy is going to skyrocket.
Yeah, just not being able to socialize and hang out with friends, and it's a very social country, isn't it? No, people are,
Yeah, but it's a very social country. I'm not a very social person. But
No producer is, dude.
But yeah, I saw someone asking in the chat before, how am I dealing with anxiety and this whole situation? And well and not well. I'm kind of like very bipolar on this situation right now. Like today, I've had a few mini panic attacks. Like, it's this situation is the nature of the virus. You don't really know if you have it for like up to 15 days, and this is like a sick, twisted game.
And what's the situation where you are now? If you believe you have it, is there? Can you even get tested now, or is it just stay at home, don't go anywhere? What's the sort of advice for you guys?
So the test is fairly expensive. I believe it's 1,500 euros.
Wow.
What? You have to pay that?
No, we don't have to pay because Italian health system is the second best in the world, or the best in the world. It's
after
free.
the UK?
I think after France. I don't know. But yeah, so you don't have to pay it, but obviously it costs a lot of money, and we're out of tests. You need some certain sort of stuff to do the test, and we're running short. So we're saving it for when you need to call a toll-free number, and they'll ask you a question. They'll say, okay, how you feel, blah blah blah, and then they'll ask you if you had direct contact with someone that has the virus for sure, and then at that point they will come to your house and test you. You're definitely not allowed to go to the ER. You get arrested if you go to the ER.
Yeah.
Because if you go to the ER, you're just gonna commit anything. So you have to call. People have to come to your place. There's also this other side of the virus, which is kind of like you feel ashamed in a way, right? It's because you have the ambulance coming to your place, and then your neighbors start seeing oh my God, did he give it to me? It's a pretty bad situation.
Well, let's talk about happier times. You've done your collab with Tiesto, your second or third collab. I mean, it's
doing pretty well, I believe.
Millions of plays on Spotify. What's coming up for the rest of the year, or is everything that you had planned being thrown into utter chaos?
Okay, so there's another song coming in April on Musical Freedom. It's another big collab with two big artists. I think I'm actually allowed to say it's with Nervo.
Wow,
very nice.
Cool. Big one.
Yeah, I have a collab with them. It's a really cool song with a really cool concept behind it, so it's gonna be a fun one. Then I just finished a song yesterday because obviously I have a lot of time to work on music. And then I'm working on a lot of sounds, and I think to sort of help people being locked in the house, what I'm gonna do is hopefully tomorrow, I'm gonna work all night tonight. I'm gonna release a free pack on Standalone Music for everybody, so that they can spend time at home, working on music.
Making sounds.
So this, sort of my contribution to the community.
Cool. Well, send us a link to that. We'll get it on our
Well,
video.
If you send us a link, we will get it. We will post it on the video, and people watching this can go and download. David, I want to thank you so much for joining us.
No worries.
I know it must be a really difficult situation for you at the moment, but
Yep.
look, we just wanted to get an insight from somebody that we knew, a producer, and how it was affecting them, because it's a big thing at the moment. So look, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yep, thanks very much.
No worries. It was a pleasure. Just be safe, and everything's gonna be okay. And yes, I wish you all the best and lots of health.
Brilliant.
Cheers.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, David.
Thanks, David. Guys, we have got Jaytech coming up next. We're going to run the ad. I hope you are all working on your remixes and ready to get them in for a big opportunity to get them. So Jaytech standing by. I'm going to run his promo that if those that don't know about his remix can check it out. And hopefully, if all our technology works, we can have Mr. Jaytech up next.
Hi there, this is Jaytech. How would you like to see the start to finish process of how I created my 2019 Anjuna Beats track, Tiger Lily? Well, now you can over at Sonic Academy in my brand new series of how to make videos. Over the course of the videos, I'll be recreating the song from start to finish, talking you through every step of the process that went into making this record. If this sounds interesting to you, you can access these videos and hundreds of others like them over at sonicacademy.com.
Hi everyone, welcome back. We have got the man like Jaytech on the line. On the line, is that like a 70s thing? Let's say hello. All right.
Hold on, we're just going to switch it over. So
I'll just fill here. So if you have any questions on the chat, please get them in. I know Deadly Custard and stuff, you guys are working as we speak on the remix.
There we go.
Jimbo, welcome to the show.
How's it going?
It's all going really, really well. Thank you very much for joining us. We wanted to get you on and chat about your course. It has gone down phenomenally well, especially with the remix competition. Everyone is... We revealed it here on the live show. We just played the ad in, and we did this sort of teaser at the end where it was just like plus, and the Anjuna Beats logo came up, and the chat just lit up.
yeah, I think it's pretty awesome getting a chance to get on Anjuna.
It is. It's a big
Absolutely.
thing. So tell us a little bit about Tiger Lily, the track. I mean, you talked in the course about originally being called Bullseye, and it was literally I'm going to nail this. Is that correct?
Kinda, yeah. So there are actually two things that I want to mention about the track and the project that I pretty much completely forgot to mention. When talking about the specifics of it. Firstly, I think part of that whole Bullseye idea was that I wanted to make a track that fits squarely into the world around it, because that is something that I have not typically thought that much consciously about while I've been making my tracks. And so I think part of that Bullseye idea actually came from, I was looking at a lot of the progressive house and trance records that people were actually getting into at that moment. And I'm a big believer in not copying what other people do, not copying other people's synths, stuff like that. But I think part of that idea of wanting this Bullseye track was I want something that is going to fit squarely into this world that I'm in, because sometimes that's something I just completely forget to do. The other thing I completely forgot that I really wanted to mention, but I just never got around to in any of the videos, was that if you open that project, you can actually switch into the Ableton session view, the vertical view. I actually live jammed out this project before I put it into the arrangement, and that's something I do every now and then. And it's something I actually wanted to touch on in the project, but it's not super important. But it is basically like some of these sections that you see in the arrangement view. I actually did just sort of like live jam them with some clips while I was putting them together. And it doesn't really matter whether you do things vertically or horizontally in Ableton ultimately, unless you're playing live. But sometimes it can actually be fun to put sections together that way, because you have this sort of live feel. It sort of feels a bit more alive somehow. And so that's actually something to think about. Is if you are accessing this project and you're opening it up, just hit that tab key and switch over, and you can actually have a play with some of those sessions.
Yeah, that's
and,
actually a way I would work quite frequently. Is starting off on session view and sort of getting the ideas, getting the main idea, and then I would do a very rough arrangement out, and then start chipping away at the arrangement rather than sort of just laying out beat by beat.
Right.
And when you're are you doing it on a push, or are you just sort of hotkeying it, or what way are you actually doing it?
I'm just everything I do in Ableton, I key in I haven't used a MIDI controller in a long time actually, and so I tend to just key melodies in and things like that, throw clips in there, and then sort of expand on them. I actually put out a surprise mix album earlier this week.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. What's the name of it again?
So the name of the album is 2.0 2.0.
Right.
See what I did there. The artist name is Wavelux, and it's this new alias that I've been working on for a while. And basically, I feel like today when I do a record as Jaytech, there is a lot of design that goes into it, and I think people who are looking at the Tiger Lily project can see that there is a real design to things. And so, I think the Wavelux project, that was actually an hour-long Ableton session view project where it was basically I made this hour-long slab of music and then cut it up into tracks.
Cool.
So that's how it ended up as 19 tracks. So really the difference is with this Wavelux album, I kind of just let the music do whatever it wanted. I just threw whatever worked that I could find, threw it at the canvas. If it sticks, great.
And is there any intention for that to be a live thing then?
Well, it could very easily be a live thing now because it was performed live initially. I performed it with the record button, and it sort of basically just loads it all into the arrangement as you perform it. So I did a couple of live tours a long time ago. So I've actually done 3 sort of hour-long live Ableton Journey things in the past that all my friends still listen to this day back in Australia. And I did one live tour in Australia where I did the show once in Japan too, where I had the MIDI controller and I had a keyboard and I had my computer and I had my audio interface. And I was, triggering all the clips and tweaking effects and playing in pads and all this kind of stuff. And I really enjoyed that. But I think back then and even to this day, I'm still really about DJing. If I'm going to be up, in front of people playing, I want to DJ because I want to take things in whatever direction I want. And so I feel like with these Ableton live sets, especially on that tour, I was really playing pretty much the same set every single night, and there was only really one option as to which way the music could go, and that was this live, unless you're doing live techno or something that's a bit different, then you can be a bit more loopy and weird.
Yeah.
But generally there wasn't much variation in every set that I was doing.
And when you're doing you're doing DJ sets, are you very much sort of tuned into the crowd and just going with the flow of the night rather than have a sort of set of records and a set list that you sort of put together
Absolutely. So I have a break glass in case of emergency set every time. So every gig that I play, I have a set that I prepare. And I almost never stick to that. It's very rare that I would stick to that 100%.
Yeah.
And that's because you really just never know what a gig is going to be like. You could do 2 of the same shows on 2 consecutive nights, and the first night would have a completely different vibe to the second night. And this has happened in the past when we've had gigs where we've booked 2 of the same, 2 nights in a row at the Palladium in Hollywood or something. You sort of find that you never know what all the variables are going to be, and a gig always kicks you in the butt in some way. It always surprises you in some way and makes you go oh crap, it might be a DJ prepares an hour-long set, and then they get there and play, and then somebody's the next DJ isn't going to be here for another 30 minutes, they're stuck in traffic, you need to, and it's oh crap, there's always this or it's oh, my monitoring isn't going to work I thought it would, I feel like these gigs always surprise you somehow.
Very course out of the blue or something.
Just bang it out, you're I've nowhere to go.
Exactly.
It's
go on, sorry.
We'd always had that. You'd prepare a set and then you'd walk into the club and it was a totally different vibe than you prepare, and you're shit. So we always had a big bag of CDs ready to switch things up. Some of the questions here on the chat, I don't know whether you're going to answer this one or not. Jaytech, who are your favorite artists on Anjuna Beats?
Oh my goodness. There's so many of them. It's hard to choose, you know.
That's diplomatic. Tell us. Okay.
Well, what's the best track on that you play out live that's come out in Anjuna in the last
What's your
few
favorite
months?
sort of Anjuna?
I was actually thinking about this just today. My favorite Anjuna track of all time is Prelude by Above and Beyond. And, you know, I was lucky enough to be there for a very small snippet of while they were making it, when they were putting together all of the African chants and stuff in that song. It's inspired by, I feel like it's Underworld, right? It's Underworld, Born Slippy. The chords in that, it's sort of reminiscent of those chords.
Yeah.
And they even did like, you know, a live tour version where they actually took the Underworld chords and made that into the breakdown, and then it sort of launched back into Prelude. But I feel like, you know, I have so many amazing memories from that time when they put out that album. I was part of the album tour when they were touring North America. It was one of my first times ever in North America, and I was just coming into the States like at this crazy level, doing like, you know, getting to go to all these cool parties and stuff.
Yeah.
And
new tracks on Anjuna?
Yeah, I think Jaytech's new tracks on Anjuna. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, but I would say like, I'm a huge Jody fan. I'm super excited for his new album as well. I've loved all the Anjuna compilations.
Yeah.
Like I've played Anjuna 8 like a bazillion times. It's just, you know, yeah, I mean, it's such an extensive catalog of music, you know. I think I've never been like a solely trance guy, and I think everybody knows that. You know, I'm starting to do like more trance records every now and then, but it's very rare that I go like fully into the trance world.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, my sound sort of sits like right in this sort of space between the Anjuna Deep sound and the Anjuna Beats sound. So, you know, I'm kind of a big fan of both, really.
Some more questions there.
We've got John McCaig. Jimbo, what is the best piece of advice for the aspiring producer?
Oh, that's such a multifaceted question.
Really,
I would
it's
say,
really open-ended. It's like just
Well, what was your sort of process from sort of being under the radar to sort of getting signed in Juno? What do you think was key in your success in sort of making that transition from, you know, unknown producer, as it were, to sort of worldwide?
I think when I was really young, I was so gung-ho about this. I was like, this is what I'm doing. It was actually Ferry Corsten, speaking of System F. Ferry Corsten was the first DJ I ever saw when I was like, I think I was almost 15 years old. I wasn't quite 15. And I was an all ages rave in Australia. And I was like, this is what I'm doing, you know, like, and so I think for me, part of it was this gung-ho attitude to just really sort of take this as far as I can take it, right from like an early age. I think that really helped. But then, you know, I think I sort of went out into the world with these plans of taking over the world, you know, moving to the UK from Australia. And that definitely sort of rocketed things to a new level for me. That was also the point that I realized that the world is a very big place, and it's not as easy as one might think to take over the whole world in whatever it is that you happen to be doing. And so funnily enough, I think that expectation that I would be able to do that is what got me really going. And I think, you know, for the first half of my career, you know, I had a lot of sort of like wins, and maybe I had a few sort of, you know, like small successes that I think had a flow-on effect, you know, to this day, where it was like it helped me get a foot in the door, which I think is what a lot of people are trying to do, is get that foot in the door, you know, just get that handhold into the industry, so that they can then start flourishing and do their own thing. I think what really changed for me is that I really had to completely rewrite my entire blueprint for how I did everything from the ground up about halfway through this whole journey, because everything that I was doing just suddenly stopped working one day. Because people were sort of like, okay, you've done that. Like, now what are you going to do? And I was like, oh, okay.
Was DJing the thing? Were you DJing first, or were you producing first? And what element of it sort of helped you propel you along?
I was producing first, and so I was sort of releasing records before I was mixing them. I didn't start DJing until I was about 18 or 19, and then I didn't start really touring until I was like 19, 20. Yeah. So, you know, I think at first, being a DJ was what I really wanted out of all this. I always wanted to be a musician. I always wanted to write music. But I was really doing it to sort of like, you know, launch myself into this DJ career. And I would say that has actually fluctuated back and forth over the years, where sometimes it's been more of a DJ focus, and then sometimes it's been more of a producer focus. So, at the moment, whenever somebody's like, hey, we want you to get on a plane and travel somewhere and play, maybe not right now, but like generally speaking, I love to do it. I'm like, I'll be there, and I'll do a good job of it, and I'll bring the noise, and I love it, but I think what really, really makes me passionate and excited is being in the studio, because that's where all the magic is,
Let's try and get us through as many of these questions as we can, because we've got loads coming in. So what I'll do is let's do a quick fire round.
Sounds good.
Is it still possible to combine DJing and live sets in one? You're DJing in Ableton Live. Do you usually switch from live tracks and play some tracks?
When I was DJing in Ableton Live, it was just all playing my own stuff. So it was never. It was either one thing or the other. And with DJing, like I said, you can take it in any direction that you want. And the reason that I gravitated just towards just DJing is that I felt like all the science of what was happening on stage, like no one on the dance floor had any idea what I was doing. I was pushing all these buttons, but for the people on the dance floor, it was kind of the same. So that's why I gravitated more towards just mixing tracks.
What do you DJ with? Is it CDJs or?
Yeah. So I just show up to the gig with a USB now, which is it's super easy. So
okay, let's. We got Awesome VR. Do you find it easy to create new things from older projects, or do you always kind of start building mostly from scratch?
Good question. It can be very time consuming to get your old projects to sound as modern and current as something that you might start today. You could spend a month trying to mix your old track correctly, or you could just write a new hit in a day. So my advice is rewrite the song. If you've sort of, figured your way like around the, all the software and the tools and everything, it can be actually quicker to just rewrite it from scratch using new sounds, or take your 4 or 5 favorite elements and just remix it.
Yeah,
and
just
do
grab
like
the riff or whatever was cool about it. And
we've got another question in from Dennis Van de Meer. Jaytech, what are some of your go-to plugins that you tend to use on most of all your projects? And if so, why these plugins?
Well, it goes without saying, Sonic Academy, Anna 2, which, ever since you guys sent it to me, I've used it in every single track. So my go-to synths are, without a doubt, Anna 2 for the synthesized stuff and Omnisphere for everything else. Beyond that, I think Diva and Ace are pretty cool. Serum's obviously a good one as well. And more recently, I've been using the Slate digital stuff on pretty much everything.
Yeah, it's brilliant, that stuff. I sort of was a bit of a late adopter to that, and then since I've sort of got into it, that's basically all I use now. All the Slate stuff, it's fantastic. All the compressors and
right.
I think once you get the bundle, you're pretty much set.
Yeah, that's it. Especially some of the kilohertz stuff as well. It's really handy. I keep forgetting it's there, and then I'm like, oh, that's right. There's all that stuff, and you pick something out, and it's really good. So,
and every now and then I log in, and then there's some new toy for me to play with. They're like, oh, we've just added this great new thing that you can have right now. So I appreciate that. The fact that it's always evolving.
And John Paul is asking, what advice for those of us trying to break through to Gareth and other A&R folks at Anjuna? I suppose it's just amazing tracks, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I actually said this just on Twitter the other day is, I think don't place all your hopes on one track, because all of us get stuff rejected. None of us sign 100% of the stuff that we submit. I think it's about just having a constant flow of cool material coming in and, without bombarding people with music, obviously. I think it's and that's the way it's always been to me. I present to the label with a bunch of music. They mull over it. They might say no. I go, okay, no worries. I'm going to go away, take that new data that I've just received, and come back. I'll be back in 3 weeks or 4 weeks or a month with some new music for you, and we'll see if we can make that work. And I think that's the attitude you just always have to have.
Dude, listen, thank you so much for joining us tonight on Sonic Academy Live. I know you've had a pretty hectic week with in and out of other stuff. Look, everyone is so hyped to have you back on Sonic Academy again. The course, everyone, the comments on the course are phenomenal. Everyone's going, it is just brilliant. To temper that with an Anjuna Beats remix competition is phenomenal to give aspiring young producers. And Gareth had specifically said he would love to hear from female producers as well.
Right. Yeah. I think it's about time we just have more sort of an equal playing field and more gender equality in dance music in general, you know?
Yep. No, I would utterly agree. So, listen, dude, thank you so much for joining us.
Yep, I think we're going to cut the ad and both go
Thank
for
you.
a wee.
We'll play the Jaytech ad again. If you don't know the course, go on our site, search for Jaytech. We're hoping to get you to do some more content. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's even just doing this course, it was just so much fun to just sort of retrace the steps of something that when I initially did it, I kind of just wasn't thinking that consciously about it. So it was like, it was fun for me as well to sort of go through every step of this and be like, okay, like, why did I do this again? Oh, that's right.
Cool.
And to actually sort of put it into words, I think it's helpful for me as well. So, I hope people, find it informative and get a lot of enjoyment out of it.
Thank you. Guys, thank you very much for all the questions to Jaytech. Thank you for taking time out of your day, Jimbo, to chat to us. And listen, we're all really excited to hear your remixes and what you're going to do, because every time we do get the remixes in, we're always blown away by the quality. So, yes, pretend that you're a female. If you submit it as
I don't think that's
make up
a good
name,
idea.
making your name up as Susan, you might have a better chance.
No, that's not a good idea.
Guys, we're going to run the ad. We're going to get a quick refresher. Then it's over to your demos. We're going to do Demo Doctor after this, and then a Fix My Mix. So, Jaytech, thank you very much for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Catch you later.
Hi there, this is Jaytech. How would you like to see the start to finish process of how I created my 2019 Anjunabeats track, Tiger Lily? Well, now you can over at Sonic Academy in my brand new series of how to make videos. Over the course of the videos, I'll be recreating this song from start to finish, talking you through every step of the process that went into making this record. If this sounds interesting to you, you can access these videos and hundreds of others like them over at sonicacademy.com.
Chris hasn't made it back again from the loo. Okay, let's see where we are. Let's hide Jaytech. That was really interesting. I find that thoroughly enjoyable. We're going to go into our Demo Doctor now. Let's see. I'll wait for Chris to come back. Remember to smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And subscribe to our newsletter as well on sonicacademy.com. You'll be updated with all our new stuff. Hi, Chris.
Hi. Too much fizzy pop before we started.
Yeah.
So, guys,
that was really good. I really enjoyed that interview with Jaytech.
yeah, no, yeah.
I
Look,
should say, I'm going to just quickly say thanks to him because I just sort of cut him off there.
you do that. So, thank you so much for all the questions. We're trying to get when people do courses, we'll try and get them on the next week on the show to answer any questions you have about the courses. So look, thank you so much to Alexei, to Orsum, to Paul Smith, to Dennis. All the questions, brilliant. We're going to head over now to Demo Doctor.
Yeah?
I'm going to check out some tracks. So
This is working. Good.
yes,
Yeah, so we've got a few demos, and then we are going to one of the demos. I sort of felt I could fix with the master, so I'll do a bit of that. But let's get our first one. Deep Sesh. Let's go get our folder open.
get your folder. It is from Paula.
Is that Paula's?
up.
Yeah, there. Cosmic Cat the Fixer.
Cosmic Cat the Fixer, and the track is called Deep.
Well, I'm assuming that's. Yeah, I'm not sure whether that's the title or that's the title.
If she's on chat, Paul, if you're on the chat, please hit us up. We'll have a listen and we'll impart pearls of wisdom.
Will we?
No.
Classic. $909-tastic.
Yeah, no, it sounds very sort of 90s house, isn't it?
Something's happening here.
I was going to suggest that you always skip the DJ intro.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I like the stabs.
There's a nice loose groove going on there. So,
Very Detroit-y.
I like that kind of sort of twisted. Yeah, that's cool. What do you think about the bass? Is it a little bit high? Could it be a bit more subby?
I think it matches quite well with the 909 actually. I think if you were to sort of make the kick more modern, you'd maybe drop the bass down a bit more. But I think
it's got that sort of 90s feel, which wasn't too low. It wasn't too subby in the 90s.
I think the only thing that bothered me there was just the way I like the delay on the vocal there, but I don't know if the timing on the I like it like one hit of it. That thick. I like that bit, but I think the other bit's maybe a bit too confusing.
So the initial delays are a bit
like this here.
Like it's almost like a freeze. That initially sounded like a fill to me.
Yeah.
And then it just kept going. I was going, okay, hold on.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has. I mean, it's obviously a retro tinged track, and I think that's, you know, it fits into me with it. I'd maybe do more with it, you know, maybe have it sort of panning or doing something, or filtered maybe. And maybe dropped out when that clap comes in.
So I listened to this earlier, and I couldn't work out whether it was kind of...
Is it key change there, is it?
Key change. Well, it was... Because it comes back out and goes back in, and it was kind of interesting, but it was going... Is it interesting, good or bad?
Yeah, I think the idea is right, but I think it's in the wrong key. It sounds like almost like a DJ mix.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I really
Toby-
like. I really love the vibe. I mean, that's the sort of music that I was massive into. You know.
Yeah, House
back in-
Head.
That's sort of almost tech,
Yeah, I'd never had you down as a house.
Detroit-y sort of stuff.
I never had you down as
No.
that. I thought you were more techno, more...
Yeah, I was listening to like hard
Not-
floor and slam and, you know, that kind of stuff back in the days.
Hard floor and slam.
Yeah.
You couldn't get anything more different than
No.
hard floor.
Hard floor was and
your-
909s
Flirpy
and
nerps.
909s and like, you know, square bass lines and
That's borderline handbag house.
no.
Okay.
No.
Can somebody in the chat
No.
please tell him that hard
might-
floor is nothing like...
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the next track. Now we have the jig. Now we have a Jaytech Master.
yeah, so what's the crack with this?
So the jig, who's the jig by? Can somebody find
The
out?
jig.
The jig.
Toby Pierce.
Toby Pierce. Toby's on the chat.
Hi, Toby.
Hello, Toby. So yes, he submitted the track. He said he sent it off to Jaytech to get mastered, and he wanted us to ask about Jaytech, about them, you know, the difference, but we ran out of time. So
yeah, we forgot, didn't we?
so yeah, we've got the original and we've got Jaytech's version, so we can AB it, can we?
Yes.
Because we've got this plugin. It's called AB.
Yeah, and so we're not allowed DJ intros anymore? What? Is that?
Toby Pierce says it's definitely handbag house.
Definitely. Sorry. Maybe I am just into handbag house.
Toby me.
So that's the original.
That's the original, yep.
Sounds beefier to me. And is that Toby? Is that just a master, or did you give stems, or what way was that? It sounds like there's a lot going on there.
It sounds like there's extra instrumentation and stuff going on there. So
not instrumentation, just sounds it sounds wider.
But if you listen to the ding 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 ding, it was definitely different. I think it goes back to Phil what you were saying last week. Lots of atmospheres in Jaytechs.
Yeah.
Which you can hear that.
Melody is too happy for the bass drop on comments.
I'm not sure I agree.
I definitely get what they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's quite skippy. I mean, maybe it would. I sort of quite like the idea of throwing in a slightly dissonant note in a riff, just to sort of
darken it down,
and just to sort of, something that's just a change, so it's not doing the same thing every time. So maybe the first three, are the same, and the last one is just a slight bit of a change. Production's great, I think.
So Toby on the chat said Jaytech just did stem mix.
It was stems, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just mixing. So
Maybe get rid of some of my tracks.
somebody else is saying I've always thought of using Jaytech's mixing and mastering services. That was John Paul.
I would highly recommend it by the sounds of it.
Yeah. Something's coming.
Imagine in a big club. Does that work for you in a big club?
It does actually. It's kind of. It's because it's a bit strange and it's a bit like. It depends where it goes here now.
I'd like to hear more of a
Tommy sort of thing.
Just that. I think there's a wee thing in the background there that.
Yeah, ding 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 ding.
That thing. I'd want to hear that a bit louder over these bits.
It wasn't too fussy in that drop. That.
Yeah. The only thing. I like things that tie in, like sections. I like there to be a relevance or a callback, or, just having I don't know whether, actually, maybe it does call back later on. But just, I think it's weird sometimes just having something completely different in the middle.
All right.
Oh, it's going to speed up.
It's messing with my head too much at the moment. It's just gone slow and then it's gone fast. It's just a bit like, oh.
I'm trying to imagine that in the club, how that works.
Yeah.
Never been a massive fan of the speed up thing. Just from a dancing perspective, you know what I mean? You're like dancing and you're like, how do you dance to this? I like that. A walk to the bar moment. Yeah. I have to agree. I am not a massive fan of the riff. I think the production is excellent. The riff, I think, just gets on your nerves after a while.
It's a little bit sort of. Yeah, after listening, at the start I didn't mind it.
I mean, music is supposed to evoke a feeling, and that feeling for me is not the feeling of a club for me.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like we were listening to that Paul Van Dyke track last week, and it's it's much more sort of not what's the it's not like
twisted.
I suppose, the emotions you're sort of thinking of are like reminiscing, or like emotion. Yeah, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's sort of, you want the evoke different types. That doesn't evoke the right type of emotion for me.
It's too plinky plonky,
Yeah.
happy. Do you know what? It sounds a little bit like, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say the wrong thing because the riff just doesn't sound clubby. It sounds more like TV or something. Do you know what I mean? That's if that's kind of, I'm not probably articulating it. And the breakdown section, I like the strings. That deeper chord I thought just went too deep, and then the slow down section, my head started becoming a bit confused by it all. It was a bit sort of like, but production wise, really good to hear what Jaytech did and what you sent them. Really good AB. So the next track is Waiting for You. Who did this?
Hydros. Had him on before.
Yes, we've talked about Hydros. Hydros is in the chat.
I noticed this earlier on these speakers. For you, is that guitar too middly, like sort of?
Go ahead.
800-y?
Yeah, there's a
honk.
Yeah, there is a sort of. Vocals at the start. You always a fan?
Love a bit of vocals at the start. Really good atmosphere.
I mean, those are brilliant big pop drums, aren't they?
Yeah, this is all working for me.
Right.
Yeah, the section from here to here, I think you could just go straight into this bit. It's sort of, that's
superfluous.
It sort of builds up to this nice thing, and then this seems a bit too, like,
to me, when it drops, the first thing I notice, it just seems so squashed.
Yeah. Let's try this.
I don't want you anymore.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about the, like, you know, the sort of fills and the meows and stuff like that? Do you need to sort of make more space for those to happen, I think?
So I think it feels like it's trying too hard to really nail.
Get the wall of sound. I think you need.
Yeah.
I think you need sort of that sort of dynamic cut between, like,
you know,
yeah,
just
it needs
off,
to pull
off
off there,
yeah.
and you need to sort of get those cuts and because they're sort of getting lost.
Yeah, I think there's too much going on too
Yeah.
much at the time, and you need to start prioritizing. I think also just back all the compressors off a little bit.
Yeah, it's a bit. Let's look at the dynamics actually on this. Yeah, 5's probably a bit much. You could probably ease back and get a bit more dynamics into that.
But sonically, it's. I mean,
yeah, I mean the sounds of vibes great.
I think it's a mix.
I think it just needs to be more focused in how the different elements. You know, maybe like stem mix out the sort of the wall of noise stuff with the other stuff, and then do sort of more aggressive cuts between some of the the fills and the and the wee tricks and stuff. So you're like you can cut things out and you can do more with the sound
and have sort of let those breathe and let them poke through a little bit so it's a bit interesting and stuff. But yeah,
atmosphere's really good. I love the drop downs and stuff.
Piano's great, vocals amazing, pads, chords, all
bass
great.
sounds nice, nicely weighted.
Yeah. So you're not a million. What LUFS though?
What?
What LUFS?
Let's go.
I mean, it's -10.
Because of the. Is that because of that one? Let it break. Yeah, because I've got it at -5 on the thing just to match it with the other tracks. So really, that short term's probably going to be up to 5.
5.
This will be the same as the dynamics. That's just showing it there. So yeah,
just push too hard. Back everything off a little bit and let things breathe.
I'm assuming it's like L2 or
L3,
L2 or Fab filter multiband on that.
just slammed over the
Just
top.
slammed to the max. Just ease back on that.
So let's get to the last track here. We've got RHC. Is this a techno affair? It is.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So skip the DJ intro.
Skip the DJ intro.
Yeah.
Oh. Reverb's on his bass.
No.
You are allowed reverb on your bass.
We did a tech tip on a reverb on a bass,
Yeah.
but there's a certain way to do it. That just seems too woolly to me. It's just it's flabbing up.
Is
you know.
that? Is that? Oh, let me help. I think if you're going to do that, I think.
Whose track is this? Who, by the way?
Sorry. Who have we got?
There.
Sergio Vilas.
Sergio Vilas. Oh, Sergio Vilas is in the
Mine
chat.
Hiya. If you're going to do that, I think you can do it.
Yeah.
I would bring down the high cut on the reverb. So you're not just getting it. So you're more getting just the rumble of it, and then I would sidechain the reverb as well. It doesn't sound to me like it's sidechain there. It's just like playing out. I think to get that more aggressive sort of pumping vibe, I think you'd need to. Groove's good though, really like.
Yeah. And your standard techno hat. I would maybe pan.
That's a ride, Chris.
No, on top of the ride. There's a little hat that just come in. No, come on the ride. Come on. Keep going.
Oh, sorry.
How dare you doubt me?
Really like those claps.
Yeah, and a cool Germanic sort of RP bass line. I really like that.
I think just to my tastes, I think the hi-hats are maybe a bit loud.
Right, okay.
Or maybe they could be, you know...
We talked about it earlier on. I was talking about maybe, like we went back to last week, get some sort of movement going on the hats, of built filtering in and out, or some sort of development.
Yeah.
Remember, if you go back to show number 5, where we show you 5 ways to keep interest going. So,
Yep. Kick's getting a bit lost for me as well.
totally, and I'd love to hear the development of that.
I'm
Like
assuming that does something.
Heel
Hill bob, yeah.
sort of type vibe.
It's very hill boppy actually.
I can hear diddle diddle.
be brought up in the mix as well. 303-ish. Yeah, I like that. I really like the arrangement, like the progression. It's sort of, it feels really clubby. It feels like it would work in a club. I just want the kick seems sort of, not really punching through enough for me. Again, it's maybe kick drum choice or just a balance thing. Just bring it up a bit in the mix.
I wasn't too fussed on the acid sound. I like the part. I just think the acid sound wasn't
authentic enough.
It sounded a bit cheap.
It sound 303, but it's just a bit more distortion on that.
Yeah, overdrive and just get it. Cool track.
Let's check the breakdown.
It says the kick's from kick 2.
Yeah. Turn it up.
Go and get the techno pack.
I think with 303s, you want to sort of use all the bits in them, the accent, the slide, and stuff like that. You want it.
I call acid lines flirping yerps.
Although it's probably maybe it's the 303 from Mono, which doesn't have a pretty great slide.
Is it 303? Where's the 303 from, Sergio? If you could tell us, it'd be great. It's definitely No, you've got vibes.
Yeah,
you've got vibes going on.
Yeah, and I think the mastering, I think you could do. There's. I wouldn't want all tracks to be like a complete thing, but you can sort of you can tell the kick's not loud enough because everything else is sort of poking out around it. If you know what I mean,
right, okay.
you'd imagine that would just be up along this line probably.
So the 303s from Silence. I would maybe go and get
the ABL.
Yeah, some plug-in.
Fuzatron or the D16 one.
If you've Roland Cloud, get one on a bit of overdrive,
yeah,
and a bit of
actually,
distortion.
I haven't tried the Roland Cloud one yet.
No, I must try it. The 99's good. So guys,
we got one more.
Oh, we got one more. We got one more. This is kind of a mixture of Fix My.
Yeah, so I really like this track, and I just again it was sort of the kick was getting. I'll play it to you anyway. You can see for yourselves.
That's the same track, dude.
Oh, sorry, it's because I've got.
Yeah.
Turn this off. Okay. This is Free Will by. I don't know now. Hold on. Go into the Demo Doctor folder. Can you see it?
No.
Go into the emails. You'll see it in emails.
You Phil. Fabio and Van.
Yeah. Fabio Garces. Yeah, I really like the track. I really love the top end, the sort of
harp and
all that stuff. Especially like the just this atmosphere and the space it was creating.
Mm-hmm.
But
he is called Don,
right?
Garce, I think it is. Don Garce.
Yeah.
You're going to have to start choosing artist names that I can pronounce. It'd be really helpful. So, Phil.
So again, I just thought that the kick wasn't clubby enough, was getting a bit lost. So I did a few bits. So I'll show you what I kind of did. I'll stop this. And I'll stop this. So I'll play it. So I felt like the bass line was getting lost a bit. If you can hear.
Yeah.
Again, I'm always really obsessed with that sort of kick bass formula that, that
get that right.
You have to get that right, and so I So it basically filtered out just the low end of his track. Added a bit more of a kick in there. And just, I tried to copy the bass. Sorry if I didn't get it quite right, but it's sort of in the ballpark. And I just wanted, again, to bring that out in the low end and sort of so you've got a more solid foundation. That's with...
Without.
With...
Without.
So yeah, that was really it, and it's just, again, it's that thing of, you know, I know I do this as well, where you sort of finish a track, you know, your kick and bass sounded good at one point, and you've sort of get used to the track, so by the time you get to the end of it, you're sort of in your imagination it still sounds good.
Yeah, because you're so used to it.
Yeah, you're so used to it, so you sort of forget, and you need that context, I think, to go back to.
Would you collapse the whole mix down again just at the end of you've nearly finished the track? Would you just mute everything and start listening and bringing stuff in? And
Yeah, I mean, I would save the project. I mean, yeah, if I was, you know, about to release a track, a lot of times I would stem everything out and go for a mix. It depends how much sort of stuff you've got on sends and stuff, or whether that's a good idea. I've more recently probably started putting more effects on channels.
Yeah, you were talking about this. Yeah.
And then that makes stemming out a lot easier because everything's on there already, you know.
Yeah, you're not having to stem out a send as well.
Send, yeah, and then sort of mix that in and stuff.
And people go, it's not as efficient. It's not, but computers are becoming so fast and powerful, and plugins are becoming so economical.
Yeah, it's not as big a a nowadays.
It's a bit of a non-issue. Sergio said it sounds really, really cool. Fabio, the guy that made it, sounds cool. Yeah, Fabio, it's a very simple. I mean, can you play just the drums, the kick, and the bass, and just let him hear? That's literally it. You know, it's not
live bass, and then that bass you're not really hearing. It's just to reinforce
down
those mids. Yeah. Is that? I believe
that is that. Can you call up your browser?
Oh yeah.
Because we first of all want to remind you to the Jaytech remix competition is closing on 7 a.m. the 21st of March. That's because it's
like a week and a bit.
To get your mixes in. Please get them in. Please join in. If you go to the other tab,
yes,
we have got a post from Anamer. It says, hey guys, looking to create another course for the website, but not quite sure what to do on it. Let me know if there's any suggestions you're struggling with, or you have any. Let me know if there's something you're struggling with, or if you have any suggestions. So, guys, a lot of people on there talking about bass groove. They want a course on bass groove, so that's probably something he's going to look at. I'm also being told that we have currently running a sale on our subscriptions, so yearly subs. A sale. We have a mighty 30% off.
Wow.
So, if you go on to Sonic Academy, you want a yearly sub, go and get 30% off. It's a wee sneaky spring sale.
There you go.
Sneaky spring sale. There you go.
Bonus.
Guys, thank you so much for jumping in the chat again. I want to thank everybody for joining in. Everyone that submitted demos. It's been a real pleasure again. We had Jaytech, we want to thank him. We had Seven Skies, we want to thank him. We want to thank Brian and Will in the background who keeps sending me messages, and they've just reminded me about tomorrow's course. We have got Vangelis Constantinopolis under his Echo Boy guys, and he's doing a dirty tech house course. He builds the track. He hasn't pre-planned the track. He's building the track live throughout the course. He is a little bit bonkers.
Yes.
In a bloody brilliant way. Will, who edits the course, loves the course, love watching it. So yeah, he makes the track up as he goes along.
What genre? Oh, Dirty Tech House.
Dirty Tech House. So you can see him going down a few blind alleys and searching and sort of, and you can understand then, you know, get a bit more inside of how he chooses sounds, why he's choosing sounds and stuff. So that's on tomorrow's course.
Cool.
So that's it. peace out, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning
Thank
in.
you for watching.
And what
Press the outro button. I might press that button.
button?
The one says don't press.
Can't believe it did that. What? Right, I'm off to hit somebody.
Press it again.
They're bullying me.
The outro button doesn't work.
They're bullying me.
Okay.
They're big meanies. All right, guys. See you
Thanks
all
for
very, very
watching.
soon. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.